Hello everyone, and welcome to the Magic of Diversity. I'm so excited to have you all today. Today's event is presented by the Magic Club at Saratoga High School. And before we get started, I want to give you a brief background of what Magic is. So Magic, or Music and Good in Concert, is a nonprofit organization I started at the beginning of the pandemic. The reason I started it is because I missed collaborating with other friends and family to make music. And my favorite part about this was that I was able to collaborate with more people than I was before. So I was collaborating with uncles and aunts and grandparents and younger siblings that performed in different styles, different languages, and they were of all different ages. And that was my favorite part about Magic. Since starting, Magic has raised over $20,000 before the Magic of Diversity, and we've supported people like frontline workers during the pandemic. We've worked with the Best Buddies Club in America to help special education students, and we've helped fund surgery for children in India who couldn't afford it. Thank you. Now, with the Magic of Diversity, we have three main goals. The first is raising awareness for our cause, which I'll discuss. The second is raising funds, and the third is bringing the Bay Area community together. Our goal is to help children in Maui and in India, and we want to raise $30,000 globally to do that. And thanks to our sponsors and all of our donors, we're way closer, so thank you. As I mentioned, diversity is central to Magic, which is exactly why we called this event the Magic of Diversity. And we have over 100 performers and 40 volunteers who've helped to make this event possible. So in advance, I'd like to thank all of them, and I'm sure you're going to really enjoy what they all have to offer. Before we get started, just a few reminders. There are 2 exits at the back and 2 on my side, so in the case of an emergency, please feel free to use any of them, and make sure to silence all your devices such that nothing goes off in the middle of a performance. Also, please do not interrupt performances to get up and leave or enter, just wait till they're done. And finally, it would be great if all of you could cheer extremely loudly for every single performance, because everyone's put in a ton of work to make this happen. So with that, I would like to introduce you to our comedian and MC for the evening. He has performed for President Obama, Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton, and he has performed in 28 countries and toured with Russell Peters and appeared in an Apple commercial on Family Guy and on Billions. With that, please welcome comedian Dan Enid.
All right, Vidura. How about another round of applause for Vidura for putting all this together? Vidura! Fantastic. Well, thank you all for making it here today. You know, it was a bit of a challenge because today is $4 movie day, right? And I know every Indian wanted to get a deal on a movie today, am I right? But we actually had a huge crew go at 8:30 this morning for a movie. So anyway, my name is Dan. I actually used to live in this area. I'm now in New York, but I used to work at Intel Corporation. Any Intel people here? Make some noise. 3 of you, all right, great. Intel, loved it. So I am the world's only half Indian, half Japanese comedian. It's true. Anyone else here, or? No, okay, all right. Oh, that reminds me, I want to tell you about our fantastic sponsors, NTT. Anyone know what that stands for? Nippon, that's right. So I'm half Japanese, so Nippon, I had nothing to do with it, but Nippon Telephone Telegraph, and then Affinity Solutions as well. Thank you so much for being our platinum sponsors. We really appreciate it. So, as I said, my dad is from India, specifically Kerala. Any Malayalis in the house? All right, you sound very enthusiastic, thank you. And my dad's from Kerala, my mom is from Japan. So I get my sushi from 7-Eleven. And I wasn't always a comedian. Before I was a comedian, as I mentioned, I worked at Intel. And when I applied for the job, they said, "You're Indian and Japanese. You don't even have to interview. You could be vice president." Now, I wasn't vice president, but I actually did work for Intel. It was my job to travel the world with with Andy Grove and Craig Barrett and Ottolini and all the executives, or I should say executives, around the world doing technical demonstrations on stage. I was terrified of the public speaking, so I took a comedy class to get over the fear, and up the road in San Francisco, and had some beginner's luck, and left a perfectly good job with, health benefits and full stock options for a job that averages about $7,000 a year with no health insurance. Needless to say, my parents are quite proud of me. So the other day I got a call from an uncle wanting to book me for an event. I think things have gotten better. In the beginning you make nothing doing comedy. In my very first show, I had to stand in Times Square and bark and get people to come to this comedy club, and I would get $1 for everyone who showed up. And I made $5 on my first comedy show after 2 years, yes. But things have gotten better now. The other day an uncle called and said, "Dan, we want to hire you for an event. It is going to be on a Wednesday in Dallas, in the state of Texas. But we are very religious people, and we don't want any profanities or vulgarities or pelvic movements." I said, "Uncle, I'm not Elvis Presley, okay? We are very religious. We don't want any profanity, no vulgarity, no 4-letter words. How much you charge for your show?" Well, Uncle, my normal fee now is $5,000 plus air and hotel. He says, $5,000? Are you out of your mind? Damn you! We were thinking more like 500 rupees. Pakistani rupees. Which are worth about half of Indian rupees. And I should know because I did a number of shows in Pakistan. Some of the best audiences I have ever had. And I know the laughter was genuine because nobody was drinking. It's amazing. How many, I'm just curious, how many aunties do we have here tonight? Aunties, make some noise. Aunties? That's pretty good. Aunties usually don't want to admit that they're aunties, am I right? Where are the uncles? Uncles, make some noise. Uncles! Wow, that's awesome. Uncles are usually like, we don't make noise. We make money. But, so it was, it was typical Asian upbringing. My father was always bragging about how difficult it was to get to school in India. I'm sure you young people have heard these stories. In India, I had to walk 7 miles to school, and both ways are uphill. In the snow. In Kerala, right, far south of India. He made himself sound like he was Indiana Jones, right? Just to get to school every morning. Like, in India, I had to climb Mount Everest. That's not even in India. I had to swim the Ganges River lengthwise, and I had to cut through 7 miles of jungle every day with nothing but a machete. And then he's like, and just like Indiana Jones, I had to climb straight up a cliff, and there was a big round boulder chasing me the whole way. How was a boulder chasing you up a cliff? That makes no sense. I was pulling it. It was tied to my little toe. And then, and by this time I'm thinking, well, what about homeschooling? And if you're a typical Asian, just like, no matter what you do in school, nothing is good enough, right? Straight A's, whatever, not good enough. I was taking AP Physics and AP Calculus in high school, and of course everyone knows AP stands for Asian people. Yeah, I was so proud. I said to my father, I'm taking AP Calculus, Physics. He goes, that is nothing. In India, we do calculus in kindergarten. So, can never win, but anyway. So, I'm just curious. So, I mean, we have any Tesla owners here? Tesla, make some noise. All right. Every time I come out here for an event, it's like the parking lot looks like a Tesla dealership. It's awesome. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a huge fan, and I have some Tesla wristbands, which I'll make available after the show. So, anyway, now let's get this started. And are you ready for some fantastic talent, folks? I said, wait a minute, hold on a second. What is this here? And professional comedian and musician? No, I'm not a professional musician. I've done some mimicry, yes, and I'll do some later. An author, okay, just became an author. Yeah, and actor, I agree. Yeah, I actually was just telling Uncle that I just did I did one of those Get a Mac commercials, like years ago, with Justin Long and John Hodgman. Remember the Get a Mac? Nothing, I mean, you're too young, okay. This is like about 2008, 2010. Anybody know that John Hodgman, the guy who played PC, lifelong Mac user? Yeah, no, many people don't know. You basically had to be an Apple user to be on the set, so at that time, I had a Trio and a Windows laptop, and I brought them, and I didn't even take them out of my knapsack, because it was crazy. So anyway, folks, without any further ado, I would like to introduce our first act, and our first act of the evening is Indian classical music with Aditi on Veena and Anirudh on Mridangam. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome them. Thank you. Okay, see? Thank you. A lot of people ask me, your dad is from India and your mom is from Japan. Where do they possibly meet? Indiana, duh. They met in Bloomington, Indiana. My father was getting his PhD in nuclear physics, and my mother was getting her bachelor's in early childhood development. Obviously, she must have failed. And this is hard to admit, but I was actually born 7 months after my parents were married. Yes, I was born in Bloomington 7 months after my parents were married. All these years, my parents have been trying to convince me I was premature. When in fact, I think it was my father that was premature. If you don't understand that one, ask your children. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you today. Now, does anyone, I'm sure you've heard of Freddie Mercury and Queen, amazing band. I was fortunate enough to see them. I was at Live Aid in Philadelphia, and we got to see them on the big screen when they were over at Wembley. It's known as the greatest rock and roll performance of all time. Now, can anyone name where Freddie Mercury was born? Does anyone know where Freddie Mercury was born?
India.
He was of Indian origin, but no, he was not born in India. For a free Tesla bracelet, who knows where Freddie Mercury was born? Zanzibar, yeah, Tanzania, all right, well, we'll have some more. I'm sorry?
His original name was Bansara.
Exactly, Farooq Manzal, that's correct, that is correct. Excellent, Uncle, thank you. All right. Okay, you get a free Tesla bracelet for that. Come see me afterwards. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, we have a special treat. May I present to you the Saratoga High School Saxophone Ensemble with Bohemian Rhapsody. Let them hear it. applause! All 18 parts of Bohemian Rhapsody. That's awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Also, could we have Ariel, Kira, and Christy come backstage, please? Please, Ariel, Kira, and Christy, if you're in the house, please come backstage and to get ready. All right, so, I perform at a lot of Indian weddings all over the world, and it's amazing. I mean, some Indian weddings last for a week, right? A week. I mean, that's longer than a lot of American marriages last, right? And I don't know. Malayali weddings. I mean, sometimes the ceremony alone is 4 hours. I mean, what can you possibly talk about in a 4-hour wedding ceremony? You will put the toilet paper over, not under. You will squeeze the toothpaste only from the bottom when you are married, you know? I don't know, my father's language is Malayalam, and I don't really know any Malayalam. The only Malayalam I've learned over the years is Ninde Morlaka Padanata Vaisa Ano, which means, is your daughter 18? My father was trying to fix me up with a Malayali doctor, and I didn't want to meet her, but yeah, I do not want to meet any Malayali doctor, no thank you. And so I'm on the way to meet the Malayali doctor. And the door opens and I said, is your daughter here? And it was the daughter. Yeah, it was bad news, yeah. So I did not marry the Malayali doctor. My dad, it's like, not only must you marry someone from India, you must also marry someone from Kerala. And I said, well, you didn't. And of course he wanted me to marry a doctor, right? Because then he gets free medical advice the rest of his life. You know? It's crazy. But anyway, folks, now we have a special treat for you, some more great music. Now, this is some music from The Lion King by Elton John, great musician. Anyone know, for a Tesla bracelet, does anyone know Elton John's real name? All right, yes, Reginald Dwight. Yes, thank you very much, thank you. Reginald Dwight it is, yes. All right, congratulations. And Uncle, I owe you that bracelet from before. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Rising Stars group from Angels on Stage. Let them hear it. One more time for the Rising Stars. Yeah, the young man's like, you were on Family Guy? And he just asked me just now. It was I guess I'm a hero with my friends' kids now, you know. And people are like, did you have a huge part on Family Guy? I said, yeah, I was Angry Indian Man number 2. It was on the episode, The Road to India. And, you know, voiceover can be a very high-paying profession. And I found that out when I got my first royalty check from 20th Century Fox. It was 8 cents. I'm dead serious. I'm going to frame it. I have it at home. 8 cents. I guess it must have been 63, and then they deducted the postage or something. Yeah, but yeah, I was definitely, Family Guy was quite experienced. Russell Peters was on that. The guy from Anil Kapoor was on there. I mean, a lot of Indian stars, so that was an interesting experience. They said I could fly out to LA to tape it in the studio there, but I figured it wouldn't be worth it, so they said we can just connect you with an ISDN line in New York. All right, anyway, enough of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now have for you a chamber music piece written by Joe Hisaishi, and it's from the movie, it's from this movie called, not Swept Away, hold on one second. It's from the movie Spirited Away. Anyone here see that movie, or? Okay, cool, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your chamber music trio. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right. All right, one more time for Ariel. Yeah, Christy and Kira, let me hear it. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Now we have a selection from Barber and Ravel, and let's get rolling. All right. Okay, well, still setting up. So, any questions here, or everyone having a good time so far? Let's see. Okay. Now I've played a couple of instruments myself. I played the cello, the violin, French horn, and guitar, keyboards, bass guitar, and drums, and none of them well. I think I'm being roped into playing something a little bit later, so you might not want to stick around for that. But no, I started piano at the age of 2, believe it or not, and my teacher wanted to put me on television, but my mom wouldn't allow it because the song, it was Greensleeves and it had 4 flat keys. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome Paniti, Sarang, Florence, and Briani. Let him hear it. So good crowd. The crowd's growing. Crowd's getting larger. Welcome. Yeah, come on down. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much again for coming out and supporting the arts, and also for supporting the children of Maui as well. And yeah, let's keep the show rolling. Now we have a great ensemble for you here by Henry Broad, and some more classical for you. Any classical fans in the house? Classical? All right. Yes, I listened only to classical till I was about 17, and then my sister, when we would deliver papers, she started playing rock and roll in the car, and I got totally polluted by Van Halen, believe it or not. So, yeah. So, all right, without any further ado, why don't we welcome our next great musicians. You guys have so much talent in this high school, it's amazing. I mean, where are my Saratoga students here? Make some noise, Saratoga. And this is one of those, like, you know, $50,000 a year private schools, right? It's public. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. I understand that they really support music at this school, so it's an honor to be here and perform. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome. Oh boy, on oboe and art. Awesome. This is great. All right, please give them a round of applause. Henry Broad's composition. Let him hear it. Yash, and Vinayak. Let me hear it. So, who is being asked to come back to the office? Anyone? Yeah, a couple people, yeah. I was talking to some people. 3 days a week seems to be the norm. You know who's asking people to come to the office now? Zoom. Zoom is asking people to come. I thought that was crazy. Yeah, Zoom, believe me, yeah, look it up. Zoom is asking people, you have to come to the office. That's bizarre, isn't it? So we're going to switch gears a little bit here and hit you with some jazz. I heard these guys in rehearsal, they're fantastic. And are they, oh, there we go. Yeah, they're awesome. Yes, wonderful. So we have Ruhan on drums, Lux on alto sax, and Kanch on piano. So let him hear it. job. Let him hear it. Jazz, yes. Awesome. We've gone from classical to jazz. Now we're gonna have a little rock and roll coming up for you. But yeah, you know, people always tell me, you know, your dad is from India, your mom is from Japan, so that makes you half Asian. I mean, what continent do they think India is in? Antarctica, right? I mean, 20% of American school children cannot find Earth on a map of Earth. And I'll tell you, it can be really lonely being Indian and Japanese. I mean, everyone in New York has their group to hang out with. You know, you have the Irish Day Parade and the Puerto Rican Day Parade and the Gay Parade and the Gay Puerto Rican Day Parade. But there'll never be an Indian-Japanese parade. You know, it's not fair, because in my whole life I've only met one other person who has the same mix as me, and that's my sister. Life is unfair. Yeah, all right. A little rock and roll. So, anyone else play instruments here? Where are some other, I mean, I know you do, but any musicians at all? Any uncles and aunties play or sing or anyone? Yeah, a few? All right.